All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So we're going to be talking about OnePlus. They just dropped the OnePlus 10T. Now that is kind of a continuation of this particular device right here. This is the OnePlus 10, and this is just one of my favorite devices of all times. I really love this device. So I'll be covering more on this. I got some more stuff coming up on this. I got a few changes. You know how I do. I'll buy something and make it new again. So the OnePlus 10 is dropping, and it's pretty much this device minus a few things. And so I wanted to get your take on that because I think, OnePlus has done a good job lately with their hardware. I was really impressed with my OnePlus 9 when it dropped in this color right here. I just really like this color. And I'm just impressed overall with these devices. So it's no secret that OnePlus has made some changes to this particular device as a whole. It looks the same, and from what I can tell from the way it looks, it doesn't have the camera doesn't separate anymore like it does on this one. It's kind of just sloped together, more on the Oppo side, and then the hardware is ultimately the same, minus the alert slider. Now, OnePlus for sure hasn't, this isn't the first time that they've brought out a device and it didn't have an alert slider. Now, when this first happened, I was one of the first people. I said, I really hate that they took away the alert slider. But in reality, I think I noticed it on this device. This is the Nord. No, I think I noticed it on the 100 series. But this is the N200, and it doesn't have an alert slider on it either. And it also takes some really good elements here. It's got a fingerprint reader built into the side of the power button, and then you've got a volume rocker over here. But more importantly, another device that they released without an alert slider is the N20. I think this is a beautiful piece of hardware. You don't really technically need an alert slider. But I really think that it would have been nice to have the alert slider because these devices, man, they're so much better with an alert slider. But the fact that they're offering a bigger discount, the device starts at $100 less for these. I was gonna say 100. It's $100 less for the 128 gig, but the 256 gig is $749, which I think is pretty good considering. This one started off at $900 for 128 gig. So, making some sacrifices like this is actually pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing that they took away the alert slider because you got to be honest here. Do I really need an alert slider, or do I want to save the money? So, I think I'm going to look at a direct line here. I'm going to pull up on a different window here off camera to look at the T next to, and this is that update to this device, that it's not supposed to be like this major update. It's just that incremental update that we know and love that they do. Now this just released in January, but having them come back so quickly with another version of this it's not strange at all because companies release devices all the time. But ultimately, what they did was they took this same body, and took away a few things. So it still has the 120 hertz display, 1 billion colors, but now it has just, I guess I shouldn't say just, it has a fluid AMOLED display instead of a LTPO2 fluid AMOLED display. But it's still HDR10 plus, 6.7 inches. And it's now, instead of it being 1440p like this one is 1440 by 3216. The new version of this with the T, the lesser of the two, is 1080 by 2412, but it's still 20 by 9. So you're ultimately getting this same device minus a few things. And you also, one important factor for me that it doesn't have is the always-on display. I think the always-on display, some people think always-on display is, it's a gimmick. I wouldn't get that. I think the always-on display can come in very handy. I really do. So it doesn't have an always-on display. It doesn't have an alert slider. It has a 1080p display, and it's a fluid AMOLED display, which you can't really, you won't. I'm sure when I get it in, if I can get it in, I won't be able to tell the difference more than likely. It's running on Android 12, and then some other key differences is going to be in the storage area. Again, it only comes in an 8 gig 128 model or a 16 gig 256 gig model. Those are the options. And so you have to. I would just go ahead and shoot for the. I would actually pre-order it. Now I'm not going to promote their products for them, but well, this is a promotion. If I guess if I'm being honest, it's still a promotion, even though I'm not speaking too highly of them or in any direction or another. But it's promoting it. So you have two options. I would just say go for the 256 gig, 16 gig right now, while you can pre-order. It doesn't drop until September, but you can pre-order it now and get it for the price of the 128 gig. That's them locking you in, getting you to purchase. And I think that's a good way to do business. Start with a discount right off the jump and then get people to get into it. Now, some other key differences are no Hasselblad. No Hasselblad whatsoever on the device that I can see of. I don't notice anything them talking about Hasselblad or anything like that, but it is what it is. This is where they are. So you have no Hasselblad, like this one says Hasselblad. I don't think they have any of that software on the new device, the 10T. But you do have on this is a 48 megapixel wide lens standard, right? On the 10T, you have a 50 megapixel at f1.8. So the trade-offs there, maybe they're giving a whole bunch to the cameras to make it really, really solid. I don't know. And then on the rear, you just have an 8 megapixel ultra wide and then a macro. Those are your options. Obviously, we know this has a 50 megapixel ultra wide, and then it also has an 8 megapixel telephoto. So not a downgrade, I would say. It's just a huge difference in the cameras that they're putting out. But that really doesn't mean anything, because if the quality is really, really good, who cares? Those are just things on paper and hardware, what they're telling you what it can do and what it's offering, what's being offered by them. But I would say, yeah, this is going to be something special. So 4K, 30 and 60 and 1080p up to 240 frames per second. That is another difference here. And you've got no HDR, looks like, on the, no 8K, I'm sorry. No 8K. It does have the dual LED flash, but it does have HDR and panorama, but it doesn't have 8K recording. And so, again, that's strange to me, because the processor obviously can handle it, but they're choosing not to. And then on the front, you have pretty much the same, but you just have a 16 megapixel camera at f2.4. But you still got HDR. It's a wide lens, so you're doing a doggone thing. Stereo speakers and on here and on the 10T. Bluetooth 5.3 on there, which is crazy, and it has aptX HD, so that's huge. There's a lot to like about this device, and it has stereo speakers on the 10T. I'm seriously thinking about getting it, but my only dilemma is that you can't get it in the 16 gig in the lighter color. You have to get the black one. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to probably get it in this color right here, but you still have the Type C. But here's another major one that they did where they cut some corners, is they gave it Type C 2.0. So that is a step backwards from the Type C 3.1 that's on here. And I don't see that it has USB on the go, but sometimes a lot of companies list these things, and they do end up having them sometimes when I check it out. So you be sure to do your own research. And I'm not making this video to convince you to buy the device. I'm just a huge tech enthusiast, and I want to see what's out there and just present it to you in this way. So another thing that's different is they dropped the battery size down to 4,800 from 5,000. This has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. But the strange part about that is it's 150 watts fast charging. That's ridiculous. The top of the line for this one was 80. That's huge. That is a huge difference in what they're offering. That's just faster charging. It's incredible. But there's no wireless charging. So that is why I'm sure OnePlus is giving you this 150 watt charging capability. Now, whether it comes in the box with that, I'll have to look on the site and see, but that's incredible because there's no wireless charging. And me, I don't have to have wireless charging. So it comes in Moonstone Black versus the Volcanic Black, and then Jade Green instead of the Emerald Green here. And the limited edition version was the Panda White, which I really wanted. and it starts at $650. I mean, the differences here are minimal, I'll say, but I'm glad that they're doing something, and they it's like they went into each section of the phone, so we're going to take away something, but we might give you just a little bit added bonus by making you feel you're getting something good by look at this part of the phone. So yeah, it's basically this device with a few things taken away and a few things given. Yeah. So it does have Gorilla Glass 5 instead of a Gorilla Glass Victus, but the back glass is still Gorilla Glass 5. So, and I think one key thing that they're not listing, from what I can tell on most of the sites where I look, is there's no IP rating. And obviously this has an IP68 rating. For the T-Mobile version only, it says, but they do their this is the unlocked version, but they do their ratings like that sometimes. They won't tell you that something has a rating, but it'll have a rating. And a lot of over the years, we know that a lot of OnePlus devices have had they've gotten the IP rating. OnePlus just didn't want to pay for it, so that's ultimately it. So yeah, how do you feel about OnePlus removing the alert slider but giving you a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1? You know what I'm saying? So this has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and the newer version, the T, has the the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. They're both 4nm chips, so I don't really think there's going to be too much of a difference. But how do you feel about OnePlus removing the alert slider? This is one of the most famous features that they offer. And I think it's just a convenient thing. I mean, iPhones have always had an alert slider. And so when iPhones take them away, I think people are going to freak out. Apple's going to have to make a device with no alert slider in their eyes to save some real money. But I think alert sliders are just one of the best things ever. And I really wish that, I really hope in the future that more Android devices adopt a alert slider, because it just is so much better than going into the system. And you could press down right here and just go to it like this. If you wanted to, you could do that, or you could swipe down and turn it off up here. I forgot how I do it up here. You can turn off the sound up here, shortcut for it. But I just prefer to do it from here. I think it's the quick way to do it. But I don't know, man. I really hope that alert sliders, they should have been a norm a long time ago, but I know it's a hardware thing. So it would have been nice to have an alert slider over on this device right here, because this is a beast mode device. And then, again, Apple's been doing it for a long time, and that's one of the things that makes Apple's phones great. But it's not just about the alert slider. They changed the screen resolution. They gave a better chip, so to speak, on paper. It's got a better chip. It's never had an SD card on this 10 series, so they took away 8K recording, which I'm not mad about that because I don't use 8K recording. But what do you think about some of the differences that I've gone over for OnePlus in their latest device, man? I know this is a T version, so they're taking a time out from putting out every spec on the device, because what will be the purpose of them releasing the T with all the things that this one has or more? They're going to have to increase the price of the T if it was supposed to be something spectacular. Now, there'll probably be a OnePlus 10T Pro, but how could it possibly outdo this device right here? What is it going to do to outdo this particular device? I don't know. You have to tell me. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed a quick discussion video about OnePlus's latest phone here. Did you watch the event? I didn't even know the event was going on, if I'm being honest. I had no idea. I didn't even bother. I just looked on the website and I'm like, oh snap, it's another OnePlus. I got the notification for it. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Are they doing too much? $650 is a fair price though. Let me drop that out of there real quick. I paid $900 for this. And I do have way more features on paper, but my experience is probably going to be the same. If I'm being honest, it's probably going to be the same. This device over here, this OnePlus N20, is a phenomenal device, folks. I can't stress enough how great it is. It's just a killer device. So anyway, it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next video. Give me your thoughts on the new OnePlus 10T.